Welcome back to AI Explained. Today we're going to be diving into Bill Gates and his take on AI.
Oh, cool.
You know him as the Microsoft guy,
Right.
but he's really become this prominent voice in talking about the future and AI especially.
Yeah, he's definitely been someone who's been thinking about this for a long time.
Yeah, and what's interesting is he's super optimistic about AI's potential,
Uh-huh.
but he also has some pretty serious concerns,
Mm-hmm.
which is what we're going to unpack today,
Yeah, let's get into it.
and why these concerns actually matter to you.
Okay, so I think what makes Gates' perspective so interesting is that he manages to balance
Yeah.
enthusiasm with this healthy dose of caution.
Yeah.
Like, he acknowledges all the amazing possibilities, but he's also really digging into, the potential downsides.
Yeah, and the first one that really jumps out is this concern about misuse
Mm-hmm.
by bad actors.
Yeah.
He talks about cybercrime, bioterrorism, even AI being used in warfare.
Uh-huh.
And this isn't just a hypothetical scenario.
No, not at all.
Oh.
We've already seen examples of AI being used in ways that are
Oh, yeah.
definitely malicious. Like, think about deepfakes, for example.
Right.
Those can be so convincing
Yeah.
and used to spread misinformation,
Yeah.
damage reputations,
Mm-hmm.
or even AI-powered phishing attacks
Right?
that can get around those traditional security measures.
Totally.
And then you think about bioterrorism,
Yeah.
AI being used to, design or modify dangerous pathogens.
Right.
That's a scary thought.
Yeah.
That's a real concern.
It feels like staying safe online is going to require a whole new level of awareness.
Definitely.
We need to develop this digital immune system
Yeah.
to combat these AI-powered threats.
Yeah, I love that analogy. It's like we need to be more vigilant than ever about verifying information,
Right.
protecting our data, and really just understanding how these technologies can be exploited. It's not just about individual responsibility, though.
Right.
Governments and tech companies need to step up, invest in robust cybersecurity infrastructure, and developing AI systems
Yeah.
that can actually defend against these attacks.
Okay, so that's the cybersecurity front. But then Gates also brings up AI's impact on the job market.
Yeah.
He's worried about widespread job displacement.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses some really concrete examples to kind of illustrate this point.
He does. He talks specifically about how AI is already becoming superior in fields like telesales and telesupport.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Right.
Those jobs involve a lot of repetitive tasks, data analysis, customer interaction,
Yeah.
areas where AI is advancing so rapidly.
And then there's that Goldman Sachs report
Oh, yeah.
that estimated that AI could impact something like 300 million full-time jobs globally.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
It's huge.
It really makes you think about what that actually looks like.
Right. What does that mean for people?
For people in those jobs.
Yeah.
It's a big question we need to grapple with.
Yeah.
We need to think about reskilling programs,
Yeah.
upskilling programs to help people adapt to this changing landscape.
Yeah.
But it's also important to remember that AI won't just eliminate jobs.
Right.
It'll create new ones, too.
Yeah.
We're going to see a demand for roles related to AI development, implementation, and maintenance.
So it's a shift, not just an erasure.
Exactly.
So instead of just panicking about job losses,
Yeah.
it's more about recognizing the need to adapt and prepare for new opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like AI is forcing us to rethink what work means.
Right.
What skills are going to be valuable in the future.
And that connects to a bigger point that Gates makes about the rapid pace of AI development.
Right.
It feels like we're on the cusp of some really transformative changes, and
Yeah.
we need to approach them thoughtfully and proactively.
This brings us to Gates' third major concern,
Okay.
that potential for losing control over advanced AI,
Yeah.
especially as we get closer to developing artificial general intelligence.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
That idea of AI surpassing human intelligence.
Mm.
It's not just science fiction anymore.
Right.
It's something that leading experts are taking seriously.
So the potential consequences of uncontrolled AI development,
Uh-huh.
that's something that needs to be addressed now.
Before we reach that point,
Absolutely.
we need to be having these conversations
Yeah.
about ethical guidelines, safety protocols, accountability frameworks.
Mm-hmm.
How do we ensure that AI aligns with human values?
Mm-hmm.
How do we prevent those unintended consequences?
Right.
These are complex questions,
Yeah.
but we can't afford to ignore them.
It seems like a lot of responsibility rests on the shoulders of the people actually developing this technology.
For sure.
But it's not just about the tech industry, is it?
No, it's not. It's on all of us
Yeah.
to educate ourselves about AI,
Right.
to engage in these conversations,
Yeah.
and to advocate for responsible development and deployment.
It's amazing that we're living in a time where these discussions are actually happening.
I know, right?
It's like we're on the verge of a whole new era and we get to help shape it.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
What I find fascinating is that even with all these concerns,
Uh-huh.
Bill Gates actually uses AI tools in his own life.
He does.
He talks about using Microsoft Copilot to summarize meetings
Yeah.
and extract key information.
So it's not just talk.
No.
He's actually integrating AI into his own workflow.
Right.
And I think that really speaks to the duality of AI.
Yeah.
It's got this potential for immense good,
Mm-hmm.
but also potential harm.
Yeah.
It's not about rejecting the technology outright.
Right.
It's about approaching it with awareness
Mm-hmm.
and using it thoughtfully to enhance our lives.
This makes me think about how AI is being used in fields like healthcare and finance.
Right.
You know, you mentioned AI assisting with diagnoses or detecting fraud.
Yeah.
It sounds like in those cases, AI is actually augmenting human capabilities,
Oh.
not necessarily replacing them.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
AI can be this powerful tool
Mhm.
for increasing efficiency, accuracy, and even creativity.
Yeah.
Imagine a doctor using AI to analyze medical images
Right.
and detect subtle patterns that the human eye might miss.
Totally.
Or a financial analyst who can use AI to identify fraudulent transactions
Yeah.
in real time.
Mhm.
These are just a few examples of how AI can enhance human expertise and improve outcomes.
It seems like AI is going to change the way we work
Yeah.
across pretty much every industry.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those jobs that AI could potentially replace entirely?
Yeah.
What happens to those workers?
That's where reskilling and upskilling becomes so essential.
Right.
We need to invest in programs
Yeah.
that equip people with the skills they need to thrive in this AI-driven world.
Right.
Like, think about data analysis,
Mhm.
software development, AI ethics.
Yeah.
These are all areas that'll be in high demand.
So it's not about like desperately clinging to jobs that are becoming obsolete.
Right.
It's about adapting,
Mm-hmm.
evolving alongside the technology,
Exactly.
recognizing that lifelong learning is no longer a nice idea.
Right. It's a necessity.
Exactly. And this shift in mindset needs to start early.
Yeah.
We need to educate young people about AI,
Mm-hmm.
not just the technical aspects,
Right.
but the ethical and societal implications too.
Yeah.
We need a generation that's not just comfortable with AI,
Right.
but capable of shaping its development in a responsible and beneficial direction.
This all makes sense, but it still feels like a pretty massive challenge.
It is a big challenge.
How do we ensure that everyone has access to these reskilling opportunities?
Yeah.
How do we make sure AI benefits society as a whole, not just a select few?
These are huge questions, and there are no easy answers.
Right.
It requires collaboration between governments, tech companies, educational institutions, and individuals.
Yeah.
A commitment to equity and accessibility,
Mm-hmm.
and a willingness to have those tough conversations
Yeah.
about the potential downsides of AI and how to mitigate them.
It's almost like we're embarking on this grand experiment together,
Yeah.
figuring it out as we go.
Yeah. And there's this mix of excitement and trepidation.
Absolutely. It's like we're standing at the edge of this vast uncharted territory.
Yeah.
We could create something truly remarkable,
Hmm.
but we need to proceed with caution, with wisdom, and with a deep sense of responsibility.
And it all circles back to what Bill Gates has been saying,
Yeah,
right?
it does.
We need to be aware of both the possibilities and the perils.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be proactive in shaping the future of AI.
Right.
And we need to make sure it benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is a defining moment. Like, the decisions we make now about AI,
Yeah.
they're going to have a ripple effect for generations to come. It's not just about the tech itself. It's
Right.
about how we choose to integrate it into our lives, our societies, our values.
It's like we're writing the next chapter of human history.
Yeah.
And AI is this incredibly powerful tool.
And that's a great way to think about it. It's a tool, just like fire or electricity.
Yeah.
It can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
The key is using it wisely, harnessing that potential while safeguarding against the risks.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Bill Gates's concerns about AI,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away?
If I had to pick one key message,
Yeah.
it would be this. Don't be passive observers. Engage, learn, question. The future of AI isn't predetermined.
Right.
It's being shaped right now.
Yeah.
And we all have a role to play in that.
So what can our listeners actually do?
Yeah.
What are some concrete steps they can take?
Okay, so many ways to get involved.
Okay.
Start by educating yourself. There are tons of great resources online,
Right.
articles, videos, podcasts, courses.
Yeah.
You can even try out some AI tools
Oh, yeah.
just to get a feel for how they work.
Play around with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then talk about it.
Yeah.
Share what you're learning with friends, family, colleagues.
Right?
Have those conversations about the potential benefits and risks, and
Yeah.
don't be afraid to voice your concerns or ask those tough questions.
So it's about being informed and engaged citizens, taking ownership of our technological future.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't just about understanding AI.
Right.
It's about understanding ourselves,
Mm.
our values, our priorities, our aspirations.
Okay.
Because ultimately, AI is a reflection of us.
Yeah.
It's a tool we're creating.
Mm-hmm.
And how we use it will reveal a lot about who we are.
That's a really profound thought. It's like this reminder that AI isn't some separate entity.
Right.
It's intertwined with our humanity.
And that's why it's so important to approach AI development with ethics,
Mm.
responsibility, and even a bit of humility. We're venturing into uncharted territory,
Yeah.
and we need to do so with a clear understanding of the potential and the peril.
Well, on that note, thank you for joining us on this AI-focused deep dive.
It's been great.
We hope you found it informative and thought-provoking.
It's been a pleasure discussing these important topics.
And to our listeners, thank you for listening. If you're as fascinated by the world of AI as we are, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives exploring the latest advancements, the ethical dilemmas, and the incredible potential of this rapidly evolving technology. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity, but also a huge responsibility.
It is. It's like we're at this crossroads, and the choices we make now will determine the path we take.
Exactly. It's not just about the destination, it's about the journey.
And making sure it's one that benefits everyone.
Right. So as we wrap up our deep dive into Bill Gates' thoughts on AI,
Yeah.
what's the main takeaway you hope our listeners leave with today?
That's a good question. You know, after exploring all these different aspects of AI and Gates' concerns, I think the most important thing is to remember that AI is a tool.
It is.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right. It all comes down to how we choose to use it.
Exactly. So it's not about fearing AI or rejecting it outright.
No, it's about understanding it
Yeah.
and shaping its development in a way that aligns with our values.
So it's about being informed, being engaged, and being proactive in shaping the future we want to see.
Absolutely. And that starts with each and every one of us.
Right. So to our listeners out there,
Yeah.
we hope you found this deep dive into Bill Gates' perspective on AI insightful and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
It's been a pleasure discussing these complex and fascinating topics.
And we encourage you to continue exploring the world of AI. Ask questions, stay curious, and be part of the conversation. Because the future of AI is ultimately in our hands.
It's been great chatting with you.
And to all our listeners, thanks for tuning into AI Explained. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the ever-evolving world of artificial intelligence. We'll catch you next time.